Greetings everybody, this is Drawing with Mr. S. In this video I'm just going to talk to you guys about my thoughts, insights, reflections about my first ever art fight. So art fight is essentially a place where artists get put on one of two teams where you submit in your original characters or your OCs, and essentially you get to submit attacks, which are essentially just you making fan art of other people's art or other people's OCs, and you get points for your team. And so this was my first year doing this. I wanted to join last year when one of my students mentioned it to me, but it was already too late because it was near the end of July or beginning of August at that time, and so I kind of missed the window. So when the Fellowship of the Art Things was talking about it, it was definitely something that I had to jump on board on and be a part of. So there's a few things that kind of go into it, right? So since this was my first ever art fight, I wanted to kind of be prepared and kind of figure out who I wanted to submit, like which of my characters I thought would belong. And so I decided to use some of my S-Verse Chronicles characters like Saruthocles, like Tsukisane, and then I thought about expanding it to my Dimensional Adventurers character, Crash, who's like one of my favorite OCs that I've ever made from back in like middle school. And then I kind of decided to throw in some of my world building characters as well, since that's pretty current on this channel. I had a little anxiety of putting on my characters or putting them up onto Art Fight because I didn't know if other people would enjoy them as much as I do. But I mean, the experience was great. Like when you receive an attack or a piece of fan art that someone made for your character, I mean, it means a lot. It means like the world to me, at least, because it just means like someone else values that character as well, right? And then, so I decided to do a couple things, right? I needed to decide who I was going to attack. And so I wanted to make sure that the attacks that I was making for like my first week of Art Fight was essentially made on the opposing team. I was on Team Fossil, so I was attacking Team Crystal, and I wanted to make sure that I got as many points as I could, right? So I chose three artists to make attacks on. We saw the Little Star early on in this video. We saw Creature, who is the second image in this video, and currently we should be looking at Dragon Force being drawn as well. I'll leave all the artist descriptions in this video with their names, and I'll even leave links in the description so that in case you guys want to go check out their Art Fight accounts, see where their other accounts are that they're posting art on, you can feel free to follow that. So after figuring out who I wanted to attack, I decided that I wanted to do my art fight on stream. And part of the reason was because I wanted to grow this community, this art community that I have growing here now on the Drawing with Mr. S channel. And I'm so glad I did, because I got to meet so many cool people, so many great artists, just because I started streaming my art fight attacks. Which, I'm going to be honest, I was really worried, I was really nervous, because I was like, what happens if no one likes my art? What happens if I'm really boring, if I'm really dull? Things like that. You get all the apprehensions, the nervousness, but I was just glad I did it. It's kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off, and it became kind of addicting, right? So I ended up streaming for all of July. Like most of my art fight attacks were streamed live with my new art community, with my friends, with my S Squad, with the Fellowship. It was great. And so I loved breaking down each week into different themes. So the first week was all about making regular attacks. My second week was all on revenges. And so you probably see Victor Stone over here. He was a revenge attack. I have Josh, who's a revenge attack, and then Ren was also a revenge attack. And so I thought having little themes each week made each week of streaming a little bit more interesting, and I loved that. Third week was my attack on the Fellowship, because I thought it would take me a long time to do with the idea that I have planned, but I'll explain that more on the back end of this video. And then my last week, I ended up doing a mass attack, having 5 Team Crystal members versus 5 Team Fossil members, which I thought was pretty cool. So which of these were my favorite pieces? Well, I guess it all depends, right? Because I felt like I learned something in each art piece that I did. I felt like I grew as an artist. I felt like I was pushing my art to another level with each and every piece I did. Even the week when I did Mr. S Sonas for a couple days. Essentially what I did was I took OCs from people in chat, like Artfighters in chat, and I either made their characters bald or bearded or both. And some of those were some of my favorites. Like I remember looking at Ven's design, and that was also the same day that the stream dropped on me for a little bit, and I got back on. It was an interesting experience, to say the least. But I also love the challenges of trying to reimagine the characters that other artists made and reimagine them as though I was the one that had the pencil, I was the one in charge of designing them. And so there's a lot of things, like with Ren, I loved doing the pose, I loved playing around with the hair textures and stuff like that. With Creature, I had fun with the little blue lizard Kissa in there, because I added that second character in. I thought that was great. The mass attacks, trying to figure out how to work in a vertical format, how to work in a horizontal format and use perspective, and I mean, they're all amazing pieces, to be honest. My favorite art piece overall, and you've definitely heard me say this before on the streams, but my favorite piece that I've done was my attack on the Fellowship of the Art Things. One, because, well, I got to use my Ceruthocles character, who I really personally love him. He's an evil villain with some Power Stone added to him. You'd have to read the lore to find out a little bit more, or backtrack inside of my Esfer's Chronicle series, which if you start off at the Gods and Champions War, those 3 episodes in there, you'll pretty much know him inside and out. But, you know, just being able to draw a piece for my friends, I thought that was probably one of my favorite things, because who else is going to appreciate your art more than your friends, right? And I felt like we got a little bit more connected because we were doing these art pieces together. And I was so glad that they didn't take the wrong idea when I had my Ceruthocles character beating up their characters, because, you know, it was all in good fun. It is art fight, might as well make it a good fight. And then it was really cool because I also ended up putting in Fantasy Creed's character, her avatar, in there, even though she wasn't part of Art Fight. She's part of the Fellowship of the Art Things, and I wanted to make sure that everyone was included. And then, you know, getting some ideas, like Nerd Comics Inc., that is, said to me, hey, maybe we gotta move, you know, Creed's character. There's a little, you know, issue with trying to figure out where she is in the foreground, midground, that sort of thing. And so taking criticism, I felt like it really helped out my art piece, you know, kind of evolve a little bit more. And then obviously me as an artist being able to adjust meant a lot too, you know, just trying to see those overall pieces. And then there were a lot of great defenses. I mean, the artists on Art Fight, the artists in this community that attacked me, you guys are insanely talented, and I mean like insanely talented. I'm going to show all the defenses right here in just a moment, so that you guys can see those, and then obviously put names on there so that you can find out which artists attacked me. And of course, we're going to link all that in the description down below. So again, in case you see someone you want to follow, see their work, definitely go ahead and do so. I encourage that highly. Okay, so we'll do that. But I don't know, I think the most enjoyment I had is just growing this community. I've mentioned it before. This channel is honestly meant to just, it started off one way as like, you know, I just want to document my art journey. It started off as a way for me to continue my Drawing with Mr. S club from middle school. Then it became, oh, let me just do tutorials. And then it became, you know, just random things, until I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I want to do stories. I want to do original stories. I want to do some original characters. I did a bunch of redraws, redesigns, things like that. And so Art Fight kind of mixed in a lot of my loves, you know, a lot of my interests. And I think it just helped me out. I think it helped out this channel, and I think it helped me connect to all of you guys, all of you artists, all of you art fighters out there. And I feel like we definitely have like a little bit more of a bond, like a closer bond. just because we did this together. Like, we were all in the trenches. We were all like, man, how many attacks can we get? My first goal on this was to do 4, and then obviously I ended up doing more than 4. I think I did about 20 or 19, somewhere in there. I'd have to double check. It's probably 19 for some reason. I could have had one more, but I was trying not to burn myself out on my first year. But I do have a plan for next year, and I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for that. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts about Art Fight. Let me know what you guys enjoyed. Which of my art pieces did you guys really enjoy? What defense did you like from another artist that's being played here on the video? Just let me know everything in the description. I want to hear any and all things Art Fight. I appreciate you guys following me, showing this video some love. And of course, I'll see you all in the next video, which happens to be my world building challenge video, episode number 7, Trials of the Sea, and that releases next Thursday, the 14th of August, at about 4:30 p.m., okay? So I'm going to let the rest of this video play. You guys take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Bye-bye.